Hello everyone. I wanted to make a short video to talk to you about the course paper. I've set up in a section here a few files. Let me just scroll down for you to use. In the section introduction, I talk about what I expect you to do and give you sort of an outline for the paper when it's due. I also have included a copy of the style guide that the American Political Science Association uses. I'm not going to be a stickler for which version of citation that you use. The American Political Science Association version is what I prefer, but as long as you're consistent and you appropriately cite other people's work, remember if it's word for word it needs a quotation, otherwise an in-text citation is the best format. So that's there. There's also a link for you to turn in the course paper when you're done. I need a digital copy. It'll go through turnitin.com. This paper should be unique to this class and should be free of plagiarism. I've also included a Word file that is a blank paper template that you can use. I would suggest it. What I've done is I've gone through and set up the paper and formatted all the little tiny details. Like this is what a cover page should look like. This outlines the different sections of what your paper will be. I fixed little things like made the second page numbered page 1 and formatted the paper for you with headers. I've also created a works cited page that you can use and given a very simple format for articles and books. Whether you use this or not is completely up to you. I just try to help you out and get your paper started so you're not staring at a blank screen. So that's available for download and use. And I've also included a link to what I call the SDA website, Survey Documentation and Analysis. Now the SDA website is a good resource for students to use to get their hands on data without having to create a survey, do a lot of collection from various government websites. And I'm going to click on Archive here. And in the archive, the two files that I use the most with this class, the first one is the General Social Survey. The second one is the American National Election Study. I prefer the General Social Survey for this sort of class because it has a wide variety of questions. The National Election Study focuses mostly on elections and candidates and doesn't have the wide range of human activities and behaviors that the General Social Survey does. So for this demonstration, I'm going to stick with the General Social Survey. And if you look at the titles of these files, you'll notice that this General Social Survey has gone back to 1972. So they did this on a very regular basis. And the data file we're going to look at has variables and responses from 1972. Okay. So when you click on that link in the archive, it brings up this user interface. And over here on the left side of the screen is where you can select different variables. The other 2/3 of the screen will allow you to do various computations. So you can create crosstab tables, you can calculate the means, do a comparison of means, even have regression, OLS regression, and maximum likelihood. For this class, I think it would be best for you to just stick to finding the data and then analyzing it yourself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly walk through how to find data and download it to my computer so that I can manipulate it probably in Excel, and that way you can get started on your papers. Now, I want to say one thing. Even though this is an online class, I fully expect you to come to me with help. So please feel free to come to my office hours to try to make an appointment. The only thing that I ask is that you do a little bit of the work ahead of time. So make sure when you come to me, you have an idea of what variables you want to use. And then I'll help you get the data and analyze it. But I would really appreciate it if we wouldn't leave this till the night before the paper is due. All right. So what I've asked you to do for this course paper is to test a very simple social science hypothesis. And I'm going to demonstrate one, and you can't do this one. So I don't want to see any papers about gender differences in regards to attitudes towards corporal punishment on children, or also spanking. This GSS dataset has lots of questions, and they include, let's do a quick search here, they include a variable on spanking. I'm going to do a search for it. It's going to come up. It's going to show me the label of the variable. So this is the name that the data has been given. I'm going to hit view. It's going to bring a pop-up, and it's going to show me the question. Do you strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree that it is sometimes necessary to discipline a child with a good, hard spanking? Now, this is a Likert scale. It ranges from low to high. It gives us 4 values. We can see that lots of respondents have answered the question. We also can see that a larger number have not answered the question. These people, the IAP is inapplicable, which means they probably didn't offer it that year that the survey was given. DK is don't know, NA is not applicable. Okay. Now, I've got this data of spanking, and I will probably simplify it. I'll probably take this data and just turn it into a very simple agree or disagree. So in my mind, I'm thinking I might recode this. All right, and I'm thinking about what can I do with this data. Now, I could do a crosstabs and calculate a chi-square, but really my question is going to be about gender differences. And I just want to simplify my dependent variable. Okay, so I'm going to remember that spanking variable. Now I need to find a variable that has gender involved. So if I search the term gender, wow, I got a lot of responses. Respondent feels discriminated because of sexism. In the past 12 months, has the respondent used the internet to learn gender issues? Do you live together? Would you marry the right person if they came along? Keep clicking. Didn't find one that asked the person about what gender they were. And that's because it's probably called sex. Yep, there it is. The variable sex. Let's select it and see how it's been coded. Please view. There we go. All right, code the respondent sex. My 2 options are male and female. I've noticed here that they've taken different values, a value of 1 for male and 2 for female. Very commonly, we could turn this variable, which is now binary, right, 2 options, and we could turn it into what we would call a dummy variable. I would change this to either male or female and have the values be 1 and 0. So if I change the variable to male, the value will be 1 for male and 0 for anything else. Vice versa, if I made this a variable called female, the value for females would be 1 and males would be 0. That's called a dummy variable. It's kind of like a light switch. If it's on, it takes the value of 1. If it's off, it takes the value of 0. The reason that I like this website for this class is because of this option up here, where you can download a custom subset. Okay. You also, if you wanted to, you could create new variables in the data file. You'll have to learn how to do the recoding and creating new variables. I like to do that myself in Excel. So I'm just going to download the custom subset, and it's going to say, here are your options. What kind of file do you want to create? Excel likes comma separated values. I'm going to click that. Sure, I'll take a code book. I'm not going to use SAS, SPSS, or SDATA here, so I'm not going to click these. Do I want to filter my data set by cases? Nope, I want them all. And I'm going to select variables. I want sex and spanking. Those are the two variables. I'm going to hit create files. Before I create the files, I want to make sure that they have my variables. Here they are. There's a case ID number, the variable for gender, and the variable for spanking. Okay. I'll hit create file. It is ready to be downloaded. I'm going to download the data file. Now, my browser has told me that this file right here is ready for me to use. Now, I'm going to save this file. I'm going to save it to a place that I can find it very easily. For some people, that might be their desktops or their documents folder. And I'm going to call this gender spanking. Okay, I'm going to save it. Yes. I'm going to open up Microsoft Excel. And then I'm going to open my file. Now, Excel noticed that my file isn't an Excel file. It knows it's a text file. And it wants to know how it needs to open it. It's a fixed width. It's a delimited file, not a fixed width, because we can see how these take up different spaces. Delimited means there's something like a comma that separates each field. We're going to start at the first row, and now it asks, well, what is it that's delimiting this? Well, it's a comma, and these little lines pop up, and that's different columns. So this looks good, right? My variable names are within the lines. The data is nicely arranged. I'm going to hit next. Looks good. I'm just going to hit finish, and here is my data. Okay everyone, now that I have my data in my Excel file, I'm going to take a break and close this video, and I will do a second video where I show you how to manipulate the data in Excel. So look for that also in this section. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to get in contact with me. Thank you.